This episode of The Mimic's Veil is sponsored by Taste Invader Tea. Treat yourself to 15% off an order of daring and delicious tea at tasteinvader.co.uk using code TMV. We also welcome our newest patron, Hollow. And in this episode, unsurprisingly, we do a deep dive into the most recent Switch 2 Direct, starting with some Donkey Kong Bananza.
So this Switch 2 Direct, there was about 5 things that I really popped for, and one of them was Donkey Kong Bananza. I was watching it at my desk at work, in the office, and I literally threw my hands in the air like that. when Donkey Kong came out, I was like, yes, like that, and then quickly calmed myself back down again.
And then did you throw them down and sort of like
Down
destruction?
Yeah.
How did you do it at your desk? Like, what?
Well, I was watching it on my phone, propped up against my laptop with my earphones in. You know.
I see.
Yeah, just watching it. Which is fine. I was obviously doing work at the same time, but I had one eye on that for anything interesting. And yeah, when I saw DK emerge from the darkness, I was like, yes! That's how you end a Direct. Yeah. What did you guys think of the actual game, Donkey Kong Bananza?
It looks interesting. I think it looks... when it first popped up, I was like, this looks like sort of 1990s rare collectathon style gameplay. I was like, I wonder if it is them. But I don't think it is. I didn't actually catch the developers. But it looks
they'll never tell us. You have to roll credits to know who made it, I think. It's classic Nintendo.
But yeah, I think it looks. I think it looks pretty good. I want to see more on it. But it looks like it's just, your comfort food style, just a bit of fun. You're not going to, get an emotional story with this. I actually took a bit of convincing. It was this trailer that convinced me on the new design of Donkey Kong.
Donkey Kong, right?
Because
all the goofy faces.
Yeah, I don't know. It's different. I don't know. It's different enough. Like, I think it was from the Mario Kart trailer we've seen a month or two ago, and they're like, Donkey Kong's got a new design, and I was like, I'm not sure about this. I'm not sure. I want good old fashioned Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
But this has convinced me that it's good. It's a nice redesign.
My son was more concerned about why he had trousers on. He's like, why is he wearing those trousers? Donkey Kong doesn't wear those trousers. I'm like, he's just working. He's doing his job. He's fine. It's his uniform for work. But I mean, I don't know. I think it looks cool and I think it looks good, and it's great to see Donkey Kong back in this kind of game. But I don't know how it's going to play. Like, I'm a little bit, and I'm excited to see it, and I'm really excited to get hands on with it. But I think it's going to be one of those, until you get hands on with it and actually get to spend a bit of time with it, you're not going to know how you feel about it. It's a bit different, like, because that mechanic's not for everyone. That destruction mechanic, some people just like your more traditional 3D platforming. But I think it's a very cool way to do it, and I think when you see those big bananas and like the big kind of crystal ones, and when you're destroying them and all that stuff, the collectibleness of it all looks awesome.
Yeah, it looks very tactile in a similar way to how Astrobot was. Like you remember those bits in the gems in Astrobot where you're just spinning around for no apparent reason, but it just feels fun to do.
Yeah,
I think this game, whether it's taken some notes from Astrobot or not, it's hard. We'll never know. But it does. It's got that same. It just looks fun to play, regardless of what the story is, if there is a story, or what the progression or whatever is.
Do you know if the whole the worlds are fully deconstructible?
I don't think they're fully. I think there's certain aspects of them that are, but I don't think the whole world is deconstructible. It's not quite Minecraft-esque. Like it's more, there's certain bits of it you can attack rather than every bit of it. Because I know in some of the gameplay I've seen in the treehouse, like in the when I think they were underground, and there was bits that you could destruct to find secret areas, but you couldn't destruct all of the walls. There was just like secrets to find almost.
Okay.
Yeah, they did something in the treehouse where they were like, I think they were throwing something, and you get a little message popping up to show whether the surface is hard or soft or something else. So I think it's a lot of destruction you can do, but it's just whether that what else? There's got to be more to it than that. We didn't get a really good sense of the scope or the different biomes. I didn't think too much. It was all very kind of like mine based, wasn't it, to start with? But
I almost don't want to see that. I mean, there's definitely a bit of me that I would rather wait and discover it myself. You see too much of games sometimes these days, and like sometimes you just know, like, I'm going to play this game. Don't want to see much more about it. Just let me play it and explore it and discover it myself. But it was a great way to finish the direct.
It was.
Yeah.
It was.
I want to know if there's a new DK rap. That's what I want to know.
Oh,
That'd
there should be
a little
in
Easter egg
a
in
sort
there
of
somewhere.
modern style.
The Bananza rap. It feels like it's a kind of word that you could get in a rap.
Bananza.
That you could rap about.
Ben?
Yeah, it rhymes with George Costanza. Abu Hamza.
Classic. It's got quite a hook to it, that.
Hey! Yes. But no, I think it was cool. It was a nice way to end things, and I think I will be picking it up. But what do you guys think?
Oh, I will. Absolutely.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So
July
we're all
17th.
Yeah. So we're all getting Switch 2s then.
Yes.
Yeah, it's ordered, done,
Yeah.
sorted. I mean, Lewis is the only one that's such a dedicated Nintendo fan that
No,
he's got an invite to order one.
Yeah!
I got an invite.
I was
from
annoyed about
Shigeru
that. I think,
Miyamoto himself.
Lewis-san, please. Give
He
us
sent
your
you
money.
that email? Exactly what he said. I got a mail from Nintendo. I was like, I'm going to do it all in a whirl because I want to get the GameCube controller. I'm just, because I'm so climate conscious, I want less deliveries.
Right.
That's my main reason.
So, obviously, we could jump all over the place and talk about different things, but I think, obviously, since we're all committed to getting one now, we've obviously been won over, and we'll get into the nitty-gritty of what we saw and everything else, but we're recording this a few days after the Direct, and obviously there's been the fallout since then of all the reaction to the pricing, and the discourse online has been all about that, and everything, every treehouse, everything that you've seen Nintendo related, people are just spamming the chat with drop the price, drop the price, drop the price. What do we think of the price?
Do you know the price off the top of your head? Is it?
I think it's 42999 with Mario Kart, isn't it?
And 39499 with the base in the UK, which I think is fine. Personally, it's it's actually below where I expected it to be. I thought it was going to be 450 without a game. That's where I thought it was going to land, because I think things just cost more these days. That's life. And there is more power in this than there was in a Switch, allegedly. But yeah, I'm more interested in seeing where the American price lands, because obviously there's currently an American price, and then there's going to be the actual American price. Because ironically, it's largely seems to be the American audiences that are most annoyed about the price to begin with.
Yeah.
That's before the they get
before
the
the
proper
tariffs
price.
come into play.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is ugly. That's an
Yes.
ugly one because, yeah, God knows. I mean, I don't know. When will we know? Will we know by the time this episode goes out?
I don't think so because I probably. I mean, I think not to get too into it, but it's not
No, come
even
on.
like it's not even your tariffs on Japan. It's around your tariffs on is it Cambodia that these are getting produced in,
Vietnam, isn't it? I think.
or Vietnam or Cambodia. I knew it was one of the two, which is 46% tariff that Trump's put on them. So if you're going to import tariff 46%, then these could go up significantly.
Yeah.
Jesus. Which then has, and obviously that doesn't impact us
No,
immediately, but the ramifications industry-wide, if the biggest market, if the Switch 2 doesn't do well in the biggest market in the world, that's going to have a knock-on effect globally, right? Not to get
Or-
too into that side of it, but like, surely.
You would have thought
or
so.
the other markets could win out of it, because well, let's just not ship it into that market and let's just make more stock available elsewhere.
Yeah. But that, again, though, for Nintendo, they'd be like,
No, I know, I joke, but
yes, that's crazy. But from a narrowing the focus again back down to just us, I was expecting something along the lines of 500. I think my guess was 480 for just the base console. And that's before we knew the horsepower that was inside it. I just thought, it's a new console, 2025, everything is way more expensive than it was, when the Switch 1 came out. It's just going to be around about the same price as any other console, because why wouldn't it be?
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, I think it's reasonable.
Yeah. I think the issue is Switch and Nintendo in general is like a family thing, and if you are a parent who just their kid wants the latest thing, well, you'd go, well, that's only got 2 games for it, really, that you can play, and I'm not going to spend £600 to get you that.
yeah.
It's kind of like, yeah. So I can see that side of it, but for us, like hardcore entrenched in the gaming ecosystem, it's like, well, yeah, we've all expected this, and I mean, yeah. From what I saw, I'm more than happy to find that cash somehow, by hook or by crook.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think probably, and we're not going to be these, if you'd bought this 8 years ago and add in inflation and how much this would have cost then and by then and compare it, like, that is what it is. Things are more expensive. We're not getting away from that, and I'm not saying in any way, shape or form it's cheap. Would I like it to be cheaper? You'd always like it to be cheaper. The games are a different story. I think the biggest thing I can't get my head around is why Mario Kart World seems to be the outlier and is more expensive than what appears to be all of the rest. It's not. At first, it was a bit like, well, are some of these going to be more? But it just feels like Mario Kart World is more expensive than the rest, which is odd. I don't get that. But yeah, we'll see how it plays out longer term. But they definitely want you to shift to digital. It seems to be.
Yeah, so
certainly how it
digital.
feels.
Digital Mario Kart World, the RRP in the UK is $66.99 and physical $74.99. Now, I don't think any retailers are going to charge £75 for that physical. Like
No.
Curry's 50 quid maybe, 60.
No, it was 60 at least, I would say.
Yeah.
But,
But still, I mean, that is a fair jump up. I mean, I don't think, other than, what was it, Unicorn Overlord, where we both paid £55 for that.
£55?
Mad! I don't think I've ever paid more than sort of 40 quid for a game.
Same.
So,
I think as soon as people want their nice physical collections, as soon as they actually lock eyes on the Switch 2 box with all that absolute pitch on the front, they'll go like, I'll be fine with it, Joe. literally.
Yeah. I'll pay extra just to not have that shit on my shelf.
Maybe that's the strategy. Like, we're going to make these boxes ugly as possible,
Yeah.
so like we don't need to produce them.
Yeah, there is that. Okay, so we spoke about Mario Kart World there. What, Lewis? You're probably the biggest kart fan of the three of us.
I'm a kart guy.
Thoughts on that?
I think it looks amazing. I'd done a likening in the group just a little while after the direct, and I said the carts, the animation on the carts, the way that the sort of wheels sort of pivot and bounce. It's interesting hand gesture there for audio listeners, which is everybody. Reminded me of how the car moves and sort of jumps about the place from Who Framed Roger Rabbit. That's a reference. Any younger listeners? It's a film from the 1980s, I think, at least.
But get your eyes round Jessica Rabbit.
How long's it been since 8 came out? 10 years or something like that? Like when it first came out on the Wii U.
Must be
Something like that. If it's not 10 years, it's not far off. It just looks like it's taken everything from all that's happened with like kart racers and racing in general in that space of time, and they've just done the Nintendo thing with it. So like I think, I don't know who it was that first said it, that it was Mario Kart Horizon for that. Was it the world? Is it the tour part of it where you're just kind of racing around? Is that the bit that was the sort of Horizon like? But yeah, it just looks really cool.
It does.
It looks really, really cool.
It does. I'm not the biggest Mario Kart fan, but it does look good. I think that openness of it. If there's enough stuff to do for like the single player, then yeah, I think it could be a special one. I mean, it is going to be special. It's obviously going to sell shitloads, isn't it? But
yeah,
it's just like I was just looking at it thinking, okay, so you can change outfits and stuff, and I wasn't really getting a full sense of what you do in the open, like Explorer bit. But it'll be something.
I don't think they gave you a lot of that though. I think they gave you like the different modes and stuff in terms of like you do your Grand Prix as you not excuse me, you do your Grand Prix as you normally do, and then you drive between the circuits and like have an extra race between like ending one Grand Prix and getting to the next Grand Prix, and then you have like your the tour mode or whatever it was, the 24 player mode where it's like every so often like 4 players go out till you get to like the final 4, which sounds like a hell of a lot of fun. But I don't feel like in terms of that actual open world exploration bit they really covered at all, and I'm assuming we'll see a bit more of that at the direct, because I think, was it 2 weeks we're getting a Mario Kart direct?
Oh yeah.
So I'm interested to see more like how alive the world is, like what else it is, as you say, but what else there's going to be to do from like a single person perspective, like if there's going to be like wee stunts to go and do, things to go and find, to explore, like uncover. I'd love there to be more to it than just being able to drive. I want stuff in the world.
And my hope is that you will drive around and you'll bump into Daisy standing around on the roadside for whatever reason, and then she's got a challenge for you, and then you have to like you do in Forza Horizon, you have to jump off a cliff and go a certain distance or so, and things like that, and then if you do that, then you unlock Daisy, and just things like that, and maybe that's the progression and that's the hook to do that exploring. That would be cool. I would quite enjoy that.
Because they've taken away some of the other stuff, like in terms of obviously the thing in Mario Kart 8 is where you're going and like you're picking your wheels and you're picking your car chassis and you're picking your this, that. Whereas now you are that character and this is that character's kart. There's no customization to the kart, which I'm actually quite happy about. I don't need that faffing. But I do like that idea of like you find and you do things around the world to unlock those characters. That just feels like a really nice way to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, nice. So no, safe to say, I guess we're all getting that bundle then.
Yes. Daft not to.
Yeah, you would be, I think.
Yeah. It would be very silly. Because it basically makes the game pretty much half price, doesn't it? Getting it in the bundle.
I think it works out about 40 quid or something with the or 35. Something like that.
And to have it as part of a bundle, like the install base for Mario Kart World's going to be colossal.
Yeah. It'll be, like 80%, I reckon. So that's obviously a launch game. Just looking at the other launch games, I mean, it's pretty decent. Street Fighter 6, Day 1, great game. Loved that on the PlayStation. I can't imagine paying full price for it again, but
no. It's one of the ones that doesn't sound great from the hands-on events. It doesn't sound like it's doesn't look amazing. Apparently, it looks alright, but it doesn't look. Certainly, I've heard a lot of Steam Deck comparisons, and it looks like it is in a Steam Deck. Like it feels but other games don't look as good as they look in a Steam Deck. It's got to take time because I think. Sorry, I'm taking this all over the place, but also when they were showing off Cyberpunk, from what I heard, is they'd only had 7 weeks to get it running.
Yeah, I'd heard that. And they've got it running at like 40 FPS.
30 to 40 FPS.
Yeah.
And looking very nice as well. So it feels like it's going to be a wee bit of time and a wee bit of. They've not had as much time as probably they would have liked at this stage for stuff coming out at launch, but you might see patches making things progressively better.
Because I'd heard Yakuza 0 Director's Cut is one of them that's not quite where you'd want it to be. But because I don't think that's a particularly demanding game, really, is it? But I like the sound of. I think they've added in voice acting, haven't they?
Yes, that's the kind of main difference of it.
Yeah, because that's what put me off. Game. Yeah, so I might actually give that a little bit of a go. Any other standouts from the launch lineup for you guys that you think you might pick up? I mean, Konotsugami, if anyone hasn't played that, I can imagine that working really nicely on the Switch too. That's a cracker. And
a big one is the GameCube games.
Yes.
They're like Wind Waker. That's the one that really does stand out for me. I'm trying to find a list of the others.
Soul Calibur 2.
Yes.
Another one. And then
F-Zero GX.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's another reason, because you want to get the GameCube controller just for no reason, particular reason whatsoever, because I've got my GameCube controller and I've got that little 8-bit do adapter thing, so I don't need it. I don't need to get it, but
it's cool.
It'd be cool to have.
Yeah. This was another one of the moments where I went, ooh, when I saw the GameCube kind of logo popping up at the beginning. That's very cool. And the games that they said are coming down the line as well, like Fire Emblem, is it Path of Radiance? Is the GameCube one? Which is like £200 in CEX if you wanted to buy that. So it's quite. And
the £200 for the one in CEX comes with COVID as well, so
it does, yeah, and somehow sealed again. So that's quite exciting, and obviously, a few others. I think Chibi Robo was in there, and
Mario Smash Football. It's
Sunshine. But I'm pumped for that. But that's a Switch 2 exclusive, isn't it? The GameCube stuff.
Yeah, and they're also bringing additional features to Nintendo 64 stuff for Switch 2 exclusive as well, I think.
Oh, are they?
Are they?
Yeah, so I can't remember exactly what it was, but it's like the rewind stuff and things like that they can add on.
Oh, right, yeah. Okay.
64,
Nice.
like not so much games, but more the actual features they can do more in the Switch 2 than they can on the Switch with those games. So you're going to get more features for N64 as well.
So can you rewind time to just before you decided to play an N64 game and correct your mistake?
You can.
Nice,
and you can just erase it all from memory.
Excellent.
Excellent.
Just while we're clearing up, because there's several unanswered questions I think that they've left in the ether that will become answered in due course, I'm sure. Can this Switch 2 work in a Switch 1 dock? Do we know?
I don't think so, because I don't think it fits. Although it's the same thickness, I don't think it necessarily is the same
sort of
profile.
Shape.
Yeah. I'm sure in the dock for the OLED there are little like runners that help you guide in the console as you go down. They would block if it's not in the same place on the actual Switch. On the Switch 2, you wouldn't be able to fully put it down, even if it did fit. Do you know what I mean?
That would be a bummer. Would be. Yeah. On the hardware side, then, what was your take? What did you think about the actual unit itself and what it can do? All its little bells and whistles.
Can I just a negative? I'm going to put a negative here.
Go on.
Mario Kart, when they done the screen share, that looked like absolute dog shit.
All of that game chat shit looked like dog
The
shit.
game
like,
bad.
it's not.
That was fucking hilarious. There was a good, was it like 5 or 10 minutes they spent on that? And it was quite near the start, and it was a bit like, all right, guys, come on. It felt like Apple trying to say, hey, here's this cool new thing. And you're like, no, this has been out like 15 years. Everyone else has already done that.
USB-C? What is this technology?
Exactly.
Because it was the screen share. It's like they're basically showing us the screen share is like 10 FPS, and I'm not a frame rate guy, but I was like, that's atrocious.
Right, I felt like a Nintendo apologist just watching this live, because I noticed the same thing obviously straight away, because it's very noticeable. But then I went, well, it's good that they've shown it like that, and they haven't pretended that it's really good and it works flawlessly. Like so there was a bit of me that was like, all right, well, at least we know to expect the feed of other people's games is not going to be great. But
and imagine it's something that'll get better when I don't know. Maybe it was an early build. I'm not sure. I'm trying to make excuses for them now.
Yeah, is anyone going to use it? I don't know.
No, well, maybe I would like to use it at least once. So I'd like to see someone's face. I'd like you to see my face, Ben, when you get a bullet bill from last place and just steamroll past the whole field and win.
Yeah, there's elements of it that would be good fun, but it just seems like a faff to have a fucking camera plugged in to the top of your console as well, not even into the dock.
Yeah,
and then find a place for that camera to live. It's like,
and they're all obviously in TV mode. If you're playing it with it plugged in and handheld, and it's on the table over there or whatever. Like either see up my nose or top of my head.
Yeah. Just holding it with your feet while you're playing it, trying to angle it.
It seems like a glaring omission not to put a camera on the console itself.
Or I wonder if they'll make a little like flexible one that can just pop in the top. Yeah,
like
a little
Game Boy,
like a worm light for the Game Boy. Yeah. Okay, so on the frames per second chat then. Again, I'll come to you, Lewis, because you are the least frame snobby amongst us, I would say. What did you make of that whole, it can go up to 120 FPS and it can do 4K? Was that a surprise, either of those things?
Those are terms I've heard in the past. I didn't care. Don't care whatsoever about that kind of stuff. Not one bit.
No, I mean, I was more surprised that it did HDR. I think the 4K and 120 was a bit surprised. I thought they might push it to 90. I was quite surprised they said, particularly in handheld, it was 120. In the VRR, it's probably in terms of the screen itself, the handheld screen more than anything. I was quite surprised at the features of that, particularly as an LED screen and stuff, which sounds actually very, very good.
What does HDR stand for again? I know that
high dynamic range.
Dynamic range, yeah.
Okay. So it's all about the range of colours and.
Yeah, I know. You like turn it on and it isn't as dark. That's how I describe it, or the other way around.
I have had very mixed results with HDR. Like trying to figure out.
It needs to be a good screen for HDR to work.
Yeah. What are you trying to say? But yeah, and I've fiddled with it, and it's like, oh, do it so this you can barely see this, and all right, but what does barely mean?
Like, phrasing there, you fiddled with it and you can barely see it.
Yeah. So the fact that it can do all this stuff, the fact that you can play Metroid Prime 4 in performance or quality mode, just seems like the least Nintendo thing in the world.
It does,
doesn't it? Do you hate that, Lewis, or are you happy with that?
Am I happy with what? Having to
be able to go, oh, actually, I want to play, what was it? 120 FPS at 1080p or 4K 60, I think. Do you care?
No.
I mean, neither of them, they make the game look good.
What's the... I want to know how many frames a second the human eye can register. I'm going to go mute because I'm going to start typing.
Yeah.
I'll be back in a second.
Please report back, Lewis.
That is a good question. But even if... I don't think we can perceive 120 frames per second.
No.
I think
it's just more about that smoothness, isn't it?
Yeah. But because I'll do a little plug now. I was on the Beat Your Backlog podcast and talking about Switch memories, but we also talked a little bit about Switch 2. And I was saying, like, I can really tell the difference between 30 and 60, but I've struggled to tell between 60 and 120. Do you feel the same, Alex?
Yeah, and I feel like 120, you probably see it more in like a driving game or in like kind of shooter games or something like Metroid Prime, is you're going to get the benefit of it because it just makes it that bit smoother and that bit more precise. Particularly if you're going to flip into your mouse control. But I don't think you're going to see that much of it, and I don't think it's going to be that noticeable. I'm quite surprised to see them actually make as much of it. It just seems like such an un-Nintendo thing to do.
Yeah.
Like they kind of like... I would rather just say, like, the games don't run like dog shit anymore. I mean, that's as much as I care about. Well, they might. That's very, very true. But it's not what I'm not going to be playing a Nintendo game for 120 for it to be 4K 60 or for 2K 120 or whatever. Like, that's not what I want from a Nintendo. It's nice. It's nice to have, but it's ultimately not what I'm sitting here waiting on and rubbing my hands together like, oh my god, look at that. Ooh.
Lewis, what are your findings?
My findings, the results are in. The human eye can see between 30 and 60 generally, but it says here the average apparently is the average of 66.7 frames per second. If you're a cat, you can see 100 frames per second. But I just know that there'll be some people who will say, oh, I actually can see up to 300. I had my eyes tested and scanned, and I can actually see up to 300 frames per second. It's really, really rare. Shut the fuck up.
My dad was a hawk.
Good eye sense of 3 cats.
Exactly. Yeah, Alex, you mentioned, just on the hardware side as well, you mentioned mouse control. Speaking of cats, what did you think of that?
That dual mousing is completely irrelevant and there's no need to ever bring it into any sort of game. Like,
what? You're not going to be getting Drag and Drive day one?
No, that can get in the bin. Like, I'm sorry, but even of everything that I've seen and heard about that game, I have no desire to even try it, because nothing against the game. I think if you actually gave me that game a decent control mechanism, it might actually be okay, but I'm sorry, but you're not going to get me to sit there like that for like 40 minutes trying to play a match of game. Like,
do you need to play it like that? Is there no other option?
Yeah, no, that's how it controls.
Is that confirmed? There's not like,
as far as I'm aware, yeah. Like,
because even ARMS, which they made, you could play that like a normal game.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it does. It might, but
then what's the point? I guess it's like
it is definitely Switch 2's ARMS.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. But without the colour, it was oddly drab.
Yeah, I mean, there was nothing much about it, was it?
Yeah,
like
weird. And what was the other tech demo-y one?
Nintendo Switch
Welcome
2
Tour.
World Tour.
Yeah.
It's not. I mean, how the fuck that's not a pack-in game? I'll never play.
Will be available as a paid download. Fuck off.
At least it's only a $5.
Aye,
Is that confirmed?
Yeah, it's
Okay,
like
that's
$4.79 or something like that. It's.
We'll let them off.
But I mean, some of the little concepts that they seem to have put into it seemed really cool. Like you would actually want to go and like, check it out. It's like, guess how many frames per second this is running at.
It's
It's for those people to prove their 300 frames per second eyesight.
Yeah. And some of the little mouse, like the mouse mini golf thing, just looks like little.
Yeah.
It reminded me of like We Play, which was like the
balance board.
the poor relation to Wii Sports, basically, wasn't it? But yeah, I think having the ability to have mouse control just opens it up as more of a viable sort of Steam Deck competitor almost, where you can play any sort of PC game, any type of genre, and it seems to be able to do even all the big third party stuff that you would never dream of having on a Nintendo console normally, which was very exciting.
Yeah, to see Elden Ring.
What was the other one? The Dusk.
The Dusk Bloods.
Buds.
Dusk Bloods? Yeah,
Dusk
Bloods.
Bloods, yeah.
That's a system seller. That if it's just a Switch 2 thing.
Yeah. It's a shame it's a multiplayer. That's the only thing.
PvE.
Yeah. There's a little bit of a... Because again, this was one of those moments when I saw Elden Ring, I was like, oh, they're actually doing it. Because that was one of those things where I thought, it would be cool, but it's never going to happen. Just can't imagine it. And then to see Elden Ring, I was like, well, I'm going to buy that again, just to play it handheld. But then when we later saw... What was it? It was the hand dangling, and then there was a bit of creepy commentary. And I was like, oh, is this Lies of P? Are they announcing like the DLC and Lies of P coming to Switch 2? And then when the From Software logo came up, I was like, oh my God. It was, and then it looked really Bloodborne-ish. And then you're a vampire and you're going around, which is such a cool idea for a FromSoft game. If like playing as a vampire and that's how you get your health back or your stamina back or something would be, that would be cool.
Yeah, I didn't realise it was PvP, VE.
It's like 8 player, I think, or something.
Interesting to see what happens with that. We get more information on it.
Is this the one to coax Lewis out of his crypt?
No.
Maybe. But yeah, that did tarnish it a little bit for me.
Tarnish.
Well done, Ben.
Thanks. It is funny that they called it Elden Ring Tarnished Edition as well, and I'm half expecting it to look shit.
Tarnished.
But yeah, that was a big moment for me. And then the other one, similar to seeing Elden Ring, was seeing Final Fantasy VII remake on there. I was like, because I loved that game, and it's the fact that can now run on a little Nintendo handheld.
Because it was a PS4 game, wasn't it?
Yeah. But still, it's just I don't know. It's just that sort of thing where, remember in the Switch 1, back in those times, when we'd get like The Witcher 3 or Skyrim, or any or Doom or stuff like that, you'd know it would be like a massively compromised version of an old game. Whereas these games are like, I don't know, they're
decent.
They're good games and they don't seem as old, and they seem like they should run well.
They just haven't told you it's Cloud Edition yet.
Imagine that.
You've reminded me of. Do you ever play any of the FIFA games on the Wii?
I think I maybe played one on the Wii.
With the pointer controls where you could tell
you had
people
to
where to
click
click
you had to
stuff.
You had to flick the controller up to kick and all that. And on the back of the box, I distinctly remember showing one of my friends. I actually think it was someone at college. And I showed one of these guys FIFA for the Wii, and he started to laugh because he looked at the back of the box. This can't be true, but I definitely remember showing someone the back of the box and them saying like, "Oh, is that what it looks like? Is that what it looks like?" And because it was like me's playing FIFA.
Yeah.
Good times.
Oh, the joys.
Good times.
And Ben, just to answer your unanswered question, no, Switch 2 is not compatible with the Switch dock.
Confirmed. Not compatible.
And partially, I think, because like the Switch dock doesn't have HDMI 2.1. So
yeah,
that will be a factor, and I don't know whether it actually just doesn't fit, but it's not compatible.
Okay.
And it's insufficient power for the Switch AC adapter as well, so it's not compatible with the Switch AC adapter either.
Right. Yeah, no, fair enough. And it obviously doesn't have a fan in it. So it's quite good that the new dock isn't just a hunk of plastic with some cables in. It's actually doing something. It's got like a real purpose now, which is cool.
You do wonder if any of the DLSS and stuff is built into that does have additional stuff built into that as well. It might do.
Yeah. One other slight negative was there was a few bits and bobs. There's like, now you need to move on to microSD Express cards. Now that microSD cards are coming down to a reasonable price, we now have to get those if we want to expand the storage. The storage has gone up to, what is it, 256?
Yeah,
now?
8 times.
Which is an improvement, but still, that's going to get filled up in no time at all.
But then the games are not that big, because I think, Donkey Kong's 10 gig. Some of the sizes have been confirmed, and they still are quite small, so which is good. So it's better. Yeah. But I suppose it's moving on to that for speed. And if it's going to ease your loading times, then for me, it's a cost I'm very willing to pay.
Yeah. But I think it'll be a while before we fill up that internal storage anyway. Yeah. Because particularly when we've got... See, I'm certainly in a different boat to when I picked up my Switch 1, and that was my only console, and I was buying everything there. Now it's like diluted across every platform, basically. And it'll be interesting to see where the Switch 2 fits into our... obviously, it'll have the new thing about it, so we'll all be excited to play it, so we'll be... day one, that'll be the only thing we play. But when the dust settles, whether it'll be like, will I still be playing more Steam Deck than Switch?
Probably.
Or does Switch overtake the Steam Deck because arguably more powerful? Don't know. See how that shakes out.
Are there bumpers for the Joy-Cons? Or is it just as they are? You get the little slide-on things.
Oh yeah, but they're like little rings rather than bumpers. They don't slide on anymore. It's like little circles that fit over the top. So do you know how when you see Joy-Con, there's almost like a little ridge at the top that's the magnet bit. So it's almost like a little ring that attaches to it.
Yeah, and you're supposed to put that on when you're using it in mouse mode, I think, aren't you? As well?
So it doesn't make it any bigger. Whereas the other one, like, added a bit on it, made the button. Because the buttons on the new Joy-Con are already bigger, it's just this little ring to basically level it off.
Okay.
Yes.
What about the Pro Controller? Does it have analog triggers?
I don't believe it does. No.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's a weird one, isn't it? Like, I could almost get not having haptics fine, because, I don't know, maybe that becomes more expensive, but it just feels like not having analog triggers. Or is that such a niche thing that's like...
No. So see if they have, first-hand experience here, if they have a bike racing game.
Yeah.
You need to have analog triggers because you can't just clamp your... If you wouldn't just normally clamp your finger down on the button to speed up, because you'd go flat, you'd come flying off the bike. So any bike game that came out on the Switch, there was an option to use the right stick as your throttle, which took a bit getting used to. using that.
But again,
It's not
that's quite
as
a
easy
niche
It is, you're right, but like
use case, isn't it?
it's still a decent amount of people who play those games. But people won't understand either why can't they just play it the same as they can play it on a PlayStation or an Xbox or the Steam Deck.
And it is a shame when you think, I can totally see a world where Forza Horizon 5 comes to Switch 2, and it's almost like you are then getting a gimped version of that because you don't have analog control.
Yeah.
It might look.
Where did you see that it was digital?
I think I've heard it rather than seen it.
Yeah, same.
I'm trying to.
We may be
find
wrong.
it.
We may be wrong.
Just seems, I don't know. Like the GameCube controller, that was analog. That had analog trigger.
Yeah. Yep. I think Dreamcast was as well. Analog, I think. But yeah, so there's that. Yeah, there's little annoyances like that. There's a bunch of games that won't work. There's a lot more Switch 1 games that won't work on Switch 2, or certainly won't work day one, which is a bit. Because I was just assuming when they said compatible with most Switch 1 software early on in the marketing, I assumed that would just be like, oh, well, it's not going to do Labo because the Joy-Cons won't fit. But there's stuff like, was it Doom Eternal? What else? Big ones. A lot of the arcade archives and stuff like that won't work with it. It's just just a bit of an arse.
Just seems to be how they've decided to emulate it. Like it's not.
Yeah.
It's like what is it? It's basically a kind of middle ground between software and hardware emulation.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
odd.
And I know they said like the Switch 1 version of Fortnite won't work. I know they're putting out Fortnite day one, Switch 2, but all stuff like that is a little bit like, I don't know. Again, takes a little bit of the shine off it, but safe to say, this was the best hour of my life, and I loved it. Honestly, I was watching it and just, even though I was working at the same time, everything I saw was like, oh my god, amazing. So, congratulations, Nintendo. You've sucked me in well and truly. Which reminds me, Kirby Air Riders as well.
I thought that was a strange one.
Strange placing, because I thought, is this the last game? Because this looks shite.
Yeah.
But even to have another like kart racing game the same year as Mario Kart, it feels like they're just sending us out to die.
Unless it's just going to be a wee bit different. They might really throw a curveball in here with this, or a curved star. Like something. There's got to be something about this.
And look, we could talk about this for hours. I'm sure we'll cover it again as more and more news emerges.
Our excitement rises, builds.
Our excitement rises. We'll be there reporting on it 2 weeks after the fact.
Yep.
And giving our hot takes.
And also spells an end to our no game buying pact.
Yes.
The bet will be done.
The 5th of June. Can't come soon enough.
We've really done. I mean, none of us have bought a game.
No, that is true. As long as you two are telling the truth.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
And
I
even
trust you.
that one that I was allowed to buy, I returned it. I mean, I might have finished it first, but I still returned it.
That reminds me, Split Fiction, day one. Great one.
Yeah, but
as well.
nobody seems to care about that now.
Weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like everyone fucking loved it for like a week and now it's dead.
Yeah.
Dead game. But yeah, look forward to getting our hands on it. And
And you Puyo Puyo Tetris, don't forget about that.
huge. New, Lewis, new Damon Ex Machina for you.
Oh, that was a highlight. It was a particular highlight for me watching that.
Yeah.
I was genuinely watching it going, what the fuck is this shit? And I was like, I bet it's that Ex Machina rubbish. And it was.
Yep. Looks all right.
Absolute jobbies. That's what it looks like.
Absolute jobbies.
And just one final thing. Surely we all want a piranha can.
Of course.
I mean, who doesn't want a piranha can?
Yeah.
Did Jason buy one?
He did,
I think
yeah.
So.
Yeah. I have not ordered one of them. What? Yeah, let's go around. What have we ordered? I've lost track of how many pre-orders I've got in, and I'm quite concerned that 3 are going to turn.
I've got
Well,
one. I have
Okay.
one Mario Kart pre-order.
And that's
One
it?
Bundle pre-order. Yeah, that's it at the moment.
Okay, pretty good. I had one with Shop 2. Like I spent a penny. And once I was done in the toilet, I went to Shop 2. But they mailed, I think Tyler and Mark got a mail as well to say we weren't in the first batch. I was like, I'm fine with that because I'd already had the Nintendo email to say that I'd get a confirmation invite
Yeah.
on
You're the chosen one.
the 8th or something like that. So I'm happy. I'm waiting just to do it through Nintendo.
And you're going to get Mario Kart bundle and the GameCube controller
And Pro Controller.
and the Pro controller. That's what I'm hoping to get as well. I need to find a way to get the GameCube controller.
And if anyone listening to this is also going to use Nintendo, feel free to use our affiliate link.
It's a good idea. We should pop that in the show notes. Yeah. I'll try and remember to do that. Remind me. Keep me honest.
Can I remind you now, or do you want me to remind you later?
Definitely later.
Okay, Alex, can you remind me to remind Ben, please?
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll ask
Yes.
Martin to remind me.
Right. Well, that's enough Switch 2 chat. Let's end this. Well, there'll be more. But let's end this with a game of Guess the Outro.
Time bomb.
Falling down a well?
Right. Going to get straight into it. 10 clues. You guess what game I'm talking about. Number 10. 2D.
Hollow Knight.
Nope.
What would be
Number 9.
Imagine that.
Not an indie.
Not an indie.
Legends of Zelda. No, not Legends. Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown.
No. Number 8. How long to beat? 8 hours. A new kind of clue that I'm just dropping.
Do we like it? Just as much as the other ones.
Fucking shit.
So you can never guess this time.
Yeah.
I've done the first two.
How about oh, that's an indie game. I was thinking My Name's Pedro, but that is indie. I don't know.
So just go straight to number 7.
Yeah, you go.
Made in Japan. Blank expressions all round.
Yeah. This is tricky.
So we've got 2D, not an indie, 8 hours, made in Japan.
Streets of Rage 2.
Nope. Number 6. This is where the clues get interesting. Nintendo Life says, blank isn't just a great platformer, it's a reminder of why this silly little hobby of ours is so wonderful.
Rayman.
Not Rayman. I don't know what. Number 5. Character name in title.
Rayman Legends.
Rayman Legends.
That's what I meant, to be fair. The character name and title. Not an indie.
Not an
It's
indie.
That's the arse clue, that one.
The arse clue is a character name and title.
No, not an indie.
Oh. Quite useful information.
Super Mario Brothers Wonder.
Oh, see, that's a good guess, Alex, isn't it? That's a good guess, but it's wrong. But it's a good guess.
Thanks, I appreciate you saying it.
You patronising bastard. Number 4. Platform exclusive.
So then assume that it's a Nintendo
Switch
exclusive.
game, a Nintendo game, yeah. It's not going to be Princess Peach's Showtime, is it?
Well, but it's like a Kirby game. I can't remember what their names are. Kirby.
Kirby Dreamland Deluxe Remastered.
I know what you mean. And no, it's not that. Number 3. Released in 1995.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Were we out?
1995.
The original version of that Kirby game.
Yeah. Oh my god, man. Mine has gone blank on its name.
Show us your workings.
Super Mario World? No. Yeah. Is that
No.
95? No, that was it later. Yeah.
It's
I was
not
gonna say-
Super Mario World.
Super Metroid is what I was going to say.
Number 2. Sequel.
Super Metroid.
No, not Super Metroid.
Willy's.
Number 1, your final clue. The art style was a rebellious response to last week's Guess the Outro answer.
The Donkey Kong.
Rebellious response to Donkey Kong Country.
The art style was a rebellious response to Donkey Kong Country.
Super Mario Land 2? I don't know. Is that Yoshi's thingy?
Oh. Yeah, when did Yoshi's Island? 1995.
I mean, it could be. But it was still, when did Nintendo 64 come out? It was when I was at secondary school. So I started secondary school in 96.
I think it was 97. 96, 97.
Yeah. So it could
97
be
maybe,
like-
yeah.
It could be like Super Mario Land 2.
But that's the
World
one
2.
that's... The one with Yoshi. When
Yeah,
you're
Yoshi's Island.
Baby Mario. Yeah, let's say that.
Yeah, Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island.
Correct. It is.
Yes!
Well done. Good deduction,
Never in doubt.
boys. Never in
Never in
doubt.
doubt.
Always. You could have got it from clue number 10.
Cool.
Easy. No, that was good work, though. Good work. And yeah, this one was actually a patron submission.
Ooh.
Yes. From our good friend, Lord Eggleston.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I actually did play a little bit of Yoshi's Island earlier today with Casper. And I've got to say, it is a beautiful little game.
It is.
Proper annoying when the baby
That.
gets taken away and it's just like, wah, wah, wah. Very, very annoying.
You're like, give me back my son.
But yeah, actually playing NSO stuff with a kid, it is quite good because you can kind of take turns and then create a suspend point, save where you've got up to, and then let them carry on and mess up and do everything else, and then just start it back again from where you saved. And it's like feels like you're playing it together when
Yeah.
you know you're not wasting your time. So,
So spending time with your child.
I am still progressing in this game. Yeah, which is very important. But no, that's it's a good little game and good suggestion. Great soundtrack as well. And the one that we are going to listen to is actually just called Yoshi's Island. They weren't that creative with the naming of these tracks back in the day. But yeah, that is what we're going to listen to. Yoshi's Island from Yoshi's Island.